Hi there, it's BruTube show, and we're here with Autokratz. If they could just introduce themselves.
Hello, I'm Russell.
And I'm David.
Okay, so how did Autokratz come about?
It was it was a figment of my imagination,
Of your imagination.
It was a pigment of my imagination,
a
and
chance
then when
meeting outside a nightclub, and I was feeling a little bit worse for wear as
you
usual.
pushed out your face and you started on me. Well, no, actually, I started on you for puking on my shoes.
I was vomiting in your general vicinity. I wouldn't quite say I was puking on your shoes.
Well,
maybe a splash or two, but I'm not a splash counter.
Well, I can vouch my left foot was covered.
The difference between me and you is that you count the splashes of puke, and I'm more laissez-faire about things.
You're laissez-faire?
Yeah.
I'd say you're more like Lassie with
Lassie's hair,
like falling down wells and stuff. And Lassie saves other people from wells, doesn't he?
He does. H.G. Wells. Well, we're going to take this up a peg or two.
Okay, let's do it.
Let's discuss the merits of C.S. Eliot's A Cocktail Party and what that really means to modern society and the way that
when you
we
say
really
cocktail,
know anyone.
is it more the emphasis on? Okay.
We digress. Sorry, what was the question?
Yeah, so how did your meeting then develop into producing tunes together?
We found we both had extremely similar taste in music, and from that we decided we might make some music that we would like to hear ourselves, and from that came some songs.
Yeah,
that's probably the.
I'll go along with that.
So when you were putting the songs together, did you have anything in mind other than just music that you would want to hear? Was there any?
It wasn't so much music that we didn't want to hear. It was music that we wanted to hear. I mean, music inspired by. Just what was going on in France. Things. Just especially the Kit Snow label. I mean, that's sort of, really sort of put a kind of seed in our heads.
We wanted to make music that kind of reflected our influences in electronic music, but in pop music, but in rock and roll, but also kind of still wasn't just music that wanted to make people dance like a lot of electro music is nowadays. We think it can kind of mean a little bit more, and we've got a bit more of a rock and roll mentality.
Well, that's one of the things about electronic music in general. I mean, not many people think there's anything, there's life outside of a dance floor for anything with a synth on it, which is not true, because you look at things such as Human League, to Kraftwerk. There's such emotional depth in such bands, and we sort of kind of want to I don't know, just
sometimes I wake up and like that first song that you want to listen to in the morning, or when you go to work, or when you've done. Not that I've woken up early in the morning for a long time, but the first song that you want to listen to in the morning, and then you put something on, and then it's just like noise. It's just like
You're always up at the crack of dawn. She's not happy. She's your neighbour.
So when you put in the tunes together, your tracks together, where do they sort of start? What's the sort of the start of a tune?
It really does depend. I mean, it could come from a guitar riff, a sort of bass line, or it really doesn't. I don't think you can sort of like think this is how we're going to write, or even have like a set way of writing. I mean, it's just whatever inspires you, and like whatever pops up in your head, just go with it.
Would you say there's been any specific sort of turning points in your music career, or any sort of major sort of now we've reached a definite
in terms of in the life of Autokratz?
Yeah.
I think we've played some shows in France recently. In Paris we played a place called the Bataclan last couple of weeks ago, and it was kind of a realisation that something you don't get in the studio is when you play live and you can really see the looks on people's faces, and we like playing small intimate venues as well, or at least venues where you can feel close to the audience. And at the Bataclan where we were really close, and we kind of could see everybody's face, and you can kind of see what the impact that what you're doing has on people, and how it can mean something to people. It's something that you don't get in the studio.
Also, too, where would you say that you aspirations, that where you want to take it next? Any particular
I think if the day that you decide where you want to take everything next, it's probably the day that you need to give up, because I don't. We just want to kind of continue to do something new and interesting all the time, and not really decide how we're going to progress the sound, or just.
There's never really been a sort of like a definite thing. You know, we want to be like this, we need to be like that. You know, it's always just I've got a great idea. You know, I want to do. You know, what do you think of this? Yeah, it's ace. You know, let's do it. And then you just continue with that, and just you know.
I mean, in a sense, a lot of people kind of they do the first album, and they kind of get a collection of ideas, and then they think, right, well now we'll move in this direction and we'll do this, and now we'll do this, move in this direction and do this. Whereas, why plan it like that? Why don't you just write the music that you write, and it kind of turns out however it turns out, depending on how you feel at that time.
So keeping it more sort of unstructured and.
Unstructured with structure.
Unstructured, but with structure.
No, more unstructured than that.
But a bit more structured than that, though.
Well, no, with a little bit of structure, but just
kind of less structure.
Less but more.
Yeah, less but more. Like, yeah, that's
foundations, but I mean, we're not talking, you know, steel girders. We're talking more sort of wood partitions.
Rome wasn't built in a day.
With the music that you've been putting together as well.
I apologise now.
I have to be in a band with him, so.
And the music that you're producing now and the equipment that you use, does it differ much now to how you started?
Not at all, because one thing I've been a firm believer in is, you know, it's not what equipment you've got. You know, you can have, you know, a £10,000, you know, sort of, you know, whatever, you know, roboplegic Ron Cox sampler, you know, and that could be spewing.
They are good samplers though. Roboplegic Ron Cox do make good samplers.
And they
blow Akai out of water. Akai haven't got a clue what's going on.
Well, you know, they've got the analog. It's really really difficult to pronounce. Is the correct pronunciation? Correct pronunciation. What are you talking about? Oh yeah, we were on about earlier. Like he what was it?
Angus Dayton. It was actually Angus Den, but it became Angus Dayton.
No, you want to for Angus Dayton.
I got news for you. Yeah, very good, very good. Anyway, returning to the question.
Just you know, same equipment.
Yeah. I see Autokratz use free machines, like we use free instruments, which is machines, guitars, and Dave's voice, and that's it. That's all we could ever need.
Especially my voice. Maybe we should do a bebop album. Like I could do a scat album. No, not scat. Scat's disgusting.
Oh, jazz funk. Why don't we do some jazz funk? What do you think that's for?
And so far as any advice to anyone else looking to get into the electronic
don't bother, especially if you've got any original ideas. Definitely don't bother, because.
No, it's not true. I mean, I just think if you're you know, new to making music in general, I mean, just be. I hate to say the term like be true to yourself, but you know, it's like don't let other people sort of you know, say, you know, the way you should you know, just do what you want to do, man.
And what would you say has been your biggest help?
Dave?
Yeah, me. I've been our biggest help.
No. And hindrance?
Dave, actually.
It's a double-edged sword, but you know, yeah, double-edged sword.
Yes.
And talking of swords, how's your sword these days?
Keeping it sharp.
You're keeping it sharp. That's a good way to keep your sword.
And final question. If there's anything we can somehow blag from Autokratz to give away in a competition.
A night with Russell.
No.
A night with Russell.
A night with me, actually.
What would be the question that you would you'd want answering?
Do you want a night with Russell? Do you put out on the first date?
Is that multiple choice?
Yeah, either yes or no. That's kind of multiple choices. Oh wait,
it's all right.
That's kind of ruined the moment.
He's the winner.
I'm a winner. Hooray!
See you, Russell. Enjoy.
Thanks very much for your interview. Thank you very much.
Yeah.